Hey, ambitious dentist, welcome to Start Your Dental Practice, the show for existing and aspiring dentists to take your dental practice to the highest possible level. I'm your host, Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV, founder of DentistMetrics.com. In every episode, we aim to demystify the how to start a dental practice problem by bringing on world-class dentists, influencers, and consultants in the dental industry to pick their brain about how to get past the barriers involved from going from no practice to being a practice owner to owning your own successful dental practice. As a dental practice owner trying to grow your business, you're always on the lookout for new ways to get patients in the door. But let's be honest, with so many options, it can be just a bit overwhelming. I've experienced this in my business, DentistMetrics, and I mean, how many times have you heard the following from a friend or a colleague? Oh, you need to be on Facebook. Oh, you need to be running Google ads. You need to be on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever the latest marketing platform is. And of course, many of these tools and strategies are really good about bringing in more business, but in always searching for that next best thing, we often neglect the simple path to what actually works. And one of the things that just works, but is often overlooked, is patient reviews, which is why I'm excited to share today's conversation with Dr. Shawn Van De Vyver, who previously joined us way back on episode 35 of the podcast. Now, Dr. Shawn is the founder of Great Lakes Dentistry and a very successful entrepreneur in the dental space. He's also cracked the code on how to get patient reviews without spending hours of your time with the process. And I think you're going to learn from our conversation that when it comes to the power of patient reviews, that it can be really eye-opening what the power is. So here's what some of you are going to learn. Dr. Shawn's favorite optimization tweaks for your dental practice marketing, the dreaded dental tax and why it hurts dentists, why you should always be thinking of ways to automate your practice, the low-hanging fruit effect of patient reviews, why Shawn decided to build the dental software he needed himself, the myth of the magic bullet and how to stay focused, and much more. And at the end of the episode, you'll also find out about how to get Dr. Shawn's 13 ways to get more patient reviews checklist, as well as a special lifetime discount on his latest dental software. So be sure to listen to all the way to the end to get access to that. And now, here's my interview with Dr. Shawn Van De Vyver. Hello, ambitious dentist. Today I have with us the wonderful guest, Dr. Shawn Van De Vyver. Dr. Shawn is a good friend of mine. We actually co-presented at the Voices of Dentistry Podcast Summit in January of 2017. He is a constant tinkerer and optimizer of his practice. So we go really well together because of the fact that he loves to optimize, he loves making things better, and he really loves the business of dentistry. He's acquired practices. He's the founder and the owner of Great Lakes Dentistry. He's acquired a few different practices, merged them in, has really done a lot on his side toward the more technical aspects of software, what you can't do with Dentrix and automation in your dental practice. And he's really just on the forefront, bleeding edge almost, of what you can do in your dental practice today in terms of marketing, patient optimization, patient experience, everything involved, employees, et cetera. And today he's got a really interesting software that he has came up with to help solve some of the issues that I see a lot of dental practices is facing. So, Dr. Shawn, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, Dr. Shawn, so, I just gave a little bit of an intro, and if you may remember, Dr. Shawn has been on our podcast before, something like 30 or 40 episodes ago. It feels like feels like
forever.
If it was before then, if it was sooner than then it's just because I'm in tax season and I don't even know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. So, whenever we talked in the last episode, we talked about a lot about how you use automated softwares to do different things in your practice, such as in patient reminders, to do marketing funnels, to do everything under the sun. And one of the things that we also talked about at our presentation was ways to do this to be able to effectively drive marketing traffic to your practice for very high-end services. I think we showed people like how to get, $10,000 worth of dentistry for like $150. It was, in all DIY, very step-by-step, very cool information. But in that discussion, one of the things you talked about is the dental tax, which to me probably means one thing, but to you definitely means something else.
Yeah.
What the dental tax is.
The dental tax or the dentist tax, I hate it, is just because it's Shawn Van De Vyver DDS, all of a sudden everything costs, instead of $100, it's $1,000. Instead of $1,000, it's $10,000. Anything dental automatically is more expensive, and it really upsets me as a business owner, because why do I have to pay a premium for literally the same product? Just because it's dental, you got to pay more, and that just spills over really into the digital products. Anytime you pay for a digital online service, just because it's labeled dental, it's the same ones and zeros, it's the same websites, it's the same funnels. So they shouldn't cost more. They should cost the same, just like any other business. So I went out and made some changes of my own.
Very cool. And so, one of the things that it seems like you've done is you've picked one of the obstacles that seem to be the easiest to optimize and to automate.
Yeah.
And again, when I say easiest, I'm just speaking strictly in terms of, you do A, then you do B, then you do C.
It really is easy.
Right. And, we're not talking about, automating, our practice management system. We're talking about, something very specific. And would you mind sharing what it is that you've started to automate?
Yeah, we won't talk around in circles or vagueness or ambiguity anymore. All it is patient reviews. And this is an automated process in my office, but that doesn't mean it's totally 100% hands off, but it's automated, meaning that when my patients come into my office and they check out, when they leave, they automatically get an email or they automatically get a text message asking them to leave a review, because I want to build reviews. I know how important reviews are in this day and age in my practice, even though I don't go on Yelp or I don't go on Google to look for a dentist. Prospects and new patients that's the only thing they do, or that's the first or second thing that they do when they hear about your office. So I thought, how can I automate this? And I've signed up with a couple services that do that for dental offices. And it was costing hundreds of dollars a month. And I thought, this is not, I do with my lead generation or lead prospect marketing that we did our presentation on. I'm thinking to myself, I can do this for reviews if I just set up just a couple different parameters. Actually, it's easier than what we presented on. Just set up a couple different parameters and boom, we've got an automated reviews system that I'm already paying for. Why do I have to pay someone else the dental tax, hundreds of dollars a month, just to do that? So it's just silly.
So let's speak to that a little bit. As far as, there's a few pieces in here I'd like to talk about. Number one is, the value of those reviews, and number two is the value of automation.
Right.
In today's environment, let's start with the reviews. Just the value of those reviews.
Sure.
For you personally, you're a dentist. You're a business owner that owns dental practices. So tell us about the value of reviews to you. What does it do for you, and how have you done with those in the past? Is it really what it's all cracked up to be, what people say it is?
I think the important thing to know about reviews is that it's not like a magic bullet, but they're accretive to your business. And what I mean by that is they're just a little bit extra. So if you've got your dental office right next door to another dental office, and someone goes on Google to search dentist in your hometown, and they see you side by side, and you're both identical. One has a 5-star Google review with 50 reviews, and the other has a 4.3-star review with 3 reviews. Well, that's going to be the tipping point to make that prospect choose your office without, everything else the same. So, having good reviews aren't the end all be all of everything, but having more and better reviews are going to kind of tip the scales in your favor. So that's number one, just from a social proof standpoint.
I remember when social proof used to be called peer pressure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay. So to all of your listeners right now, to those of you listening, here's some peer pressure for you. How many Google dentist in your hometown and see how many reviews you have and your competitors have. And my guess is most of them don't have a lot. At this point, Google reviews are still like it's a good big market, and that's why these review services are such a hot topic right now, and people are paying a lot for them because it hasn't been really a proven, established market. There are a lot of players out there, but us dentists, we don't know the difference between them all. So if we think it's more expensive, well, it must be doing something different. And I'll tell you right now, they're not. I'll tell you what my system does, and it's the same as everyone else's. So there's nothing new about it. So going back to your first question, what's so important about reviews? Well, there isn't the one thing that's so important, but it's all these little things added together that make them important. So the first thing is just social proof, just seeing you among your competitors as having more and better reviews.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is if someone leaves a bad review, the only way to get rid of a bad review, this is a common question. How do you remove a 1-star review? Sorry, it cannot be done. And you're going to waste your time trying. The only way to get rid of a bad review is just to bury it among lots and lots and lots of good reviews. So someone is going to have to scroll through all of these good reviews before they finally see a bad review.
And to that point, I feel like people are much more likely to leave a bad review compared to leaving a good review uncoerced.
Yes,
so,
I have a statistic. I have a course on another website about that, and there's a statistic that I have that statistic. 10 times more likely to leave a bad review than they are to leave a good review for the same good or bad experience.
Leaves it a lot of risk.
Yeah, so you have to go out and solicit those good reviews because your patients aren't going to do it on their own. So you have to actively go out and be proactive about that. So that's where the automation part comes in. But if you're what do we talk about so far? We got social proof. We got burying negative reviews. Those are 2 reasons. The third reason is SEO.
Sure.
Google displays when you search dentist your hometown, and there's a list on the right-hand side of Google. If you see a dental office on the right-hand side, you're going to see a little snippet that says reviews from around the web, and Facebook is on there. Facebook reviews are on there. Facebook reviews are being utilized in Google search results because that's what's most relevant for the end user. So we got to be getting our Google reviews. We got to be getting our Facebook reviews because that's also going to improve our rankings and search engine optimization. Again, it's not a magic bullet saying, oh, if you have good reviews, you're going to have great results, but every little bit helps, and reviews are part of the mix.
I mean, every time I talk to people about this, I say, think from Google's perspective. Google is one of the, they're at this point in 2017, there's a lot of companies like them, but for a long time, they have been a very forward-thinking company of, making sure that this search function we have is as powerful and as accurate and as relevant to our users as possible. They obviously have revenue that they have to make and things like that, but they've been very good at, continually using data to try and optimize. If you're thinking about from Google's perspective, what do you think long-term they're going to put most of their weight behind? And most of their weight is going to be going behind what are our users saying is the best result for this, rather than it just being some, nebulous number that comes out. Now, and that's not to say that Google search algorithms aren't in their own some certain way nebulous, but at the end of the day, long term, these reviews are going to only have more weight in the future in my mind. I just don't see what else they could put more weight on in the future other than, I mean, even more than, backlinks, which a backlink is whenever someone links to your website. I would think that the weight of the Google search will actually shift away from that and more towards review as time goes on, just because it's so easy to fake a backlink from somewhere else.
It is, because Google's algorithm has changed over the years from giving you results specific to your specific search terms exactly as you type them in. And now Google is kind of trying to interpret what you mean by a search. So if you search Dentist Tennessee, Google is not searching and giving you the best websites that have Dentist Tennessee in the web page. They're interpreting that as you need to find a dentist. And so it's going to return to you dental offices, and pushed up to the top of that list are the dental offices that have the most and best reviews in your community, because Google is interpreting that as you're trying to find the best dentist in your community. Therefore, these are the top offices.
Sure.
If you notice, if you do something like that, if you search for a service like that, it doesn't just show up with web pages as results. It shows up with a Google Maps with 3 locations that are relevant to your search. That's because Google has interpreted your search and is returning actual locations of your search term dentist, dental offices. It's not returning just web pages. And the cool thing about that is, so your reviews are going to help you land on that map, but those are not paid for positions. That's what's underneath that map is called the local 3-pack. And those are organic. You cannot buy those places. And so having more reviews and better reviews are actually going to save you money in the long run, because you're going to get those results posted and they don't cost you anything. You can't buy them. So all these reasons, why wouldn't you be proactive in trying to build your online reputation and get more and better reviews, quality and quantity?
And really, another giant benefit of focusing on it now is that over time, this is only going to become more important. And if you start now, reviews stay on there for a long time.
They stay on there forever, unless the user actually removes them. You could have a Google user post a 5-star review on your page today. I'm pretty sure that they could die, and that review isn't going away because they have to log in and remove it themselves.
So think about it in these terms. In 10 years, how many Google reviews are you going to have? And how many is the person who has not been worrying about Google reviews going to have?
Exactly. I mean, now it's like these should be like alarm bells going off, and big neon lights blinking. Head start, head start, head start. You can get your head start now because, again, just Google dentist in your hometown and see how many Google reviews you and your competitors have. And I'm willing to bet 90% of them have less than triple-digit Google reviews. Most of them probably have less than double-digit.
Yes, especially in certain areas of the country. And also, I've had people, I don't remember if it was a presentation I saw or something or what, but someone put the value of a review at something like $50 per review. And so if you have, 100 reviews, and
when you put that out there, if you know what the value of review is, get this out there right now. You cannot pay for reviews. So do not advertise that. We are not paying for reviews. We're not paying your agents, and we're not giving them an incentive to give you a good review. So make sure you know that.
Right. Well, the point I was going to was that I actually feel that the value increases as you have more rather than decreasing as you have more, like most economies of scale go. And they also will be more valuable over time. Because like I said, 10 years from now, and I'll be honest, like if you're listening to this in 2027, if you found this from a time capsule or something like that, the great distant future of the long time to come, then
if Google just decided to play this because you said, play me the best dental podcast right now, it plays this episode.
Yes, because this one will go down into the archives.
This is going down.
is that, you know, it's going to be really hard for the new guys. It's going to be really hard for someone who starts a practice up and they're trying to get into Google search and they're just dominated by someone who has 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Google reviews. I mean, that's going to be tough to beat that person out in the long term.
Yeah, and if you're a dental student listening to these, and you say, well, I want to get better at, I want to get good SEO. Why don't you start writing web pages now? Why don't you start blogging now to get that established? Just that goes to your point. The longer you have stuff established online, the more credibility you're going to have. So, and from a dental owner perspective, I want to make those barriers to entry really high. I don't want competition in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do everything I can to make myself appear to be the best. And it's going to be tough you can't buy reviews. So you're not going to be able to catch up to me very quickly if I continue.
Yeah. And personally, I think that this specific piece of technology, reviews, online reviews, is the ultimate combatant to corporate dentistry, because corporate dentistry, what everyone thinks about corporate dentistry is they don't have the personality. They are just these corporate companies that are there to bring you in for a free exam and x-rays and then have you have a $10,000 case whenever you don't even need anything. That is the persona of most corporate practices, like Aspen Dental and things like that. And Aspen Dental, like places like that, they cannot get these reviews. And if they do get reviews, there's going to be more weighted toward the negative reviews because of that persona. And so that is, at the end of the day, is going to be a big difference, long term, as these reviews start getting more sophisticated and becoming a heavier weight inside of Google search. Now, they're still going to be okay because they'll be able to spend a lot of money on marketing, but this area, this specific area, will be an area that they're not going to be able to catch up on. I don't personally believe, just because that's not how their model works. Their model works based off of transactions, not value.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And it's anecdotally, since I started doing this, I've been doing reviews for just a little over a year. I think I started last March.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I get new patients coming into the office, I always ask, how'd you hear about us? Because I send out mailers and flyers and coupons, and I want to know what marketing is working. And I've noticed recently, again, this is just anecdotally, patients will say, oh, my friend goes here and they get, they referred me here, my neighbor. But then when I looked you up online, all of your reviews, it was the reviews. I'm not trying to paint this as some kind of panacea or just because I'm just launching this new business. It's just kind of weird that now I'm getting more and consistent patients saying, yeah, I saw your reviews, because I feel like I'm finally getting some good traction and I'm setting myself apart from my local competition. And the really cool thing about it is the guys right around me don't know. They still don't know. So I'm still, every day that goes by, I'm increasing my lead. I'm increasing that, I'm making that gap harder to bridge.
I 100% agree. I hear from more and more clients with a higher and higher velocity that online reviews are fueling new patient growth.
Yeah,
it's astounding, really. So we talked about reviews. If you haven't gathered the value of the reviews and why you need to be focusing on that, with that just our discussion just then maybe you're in an area that has one dentist. Maybe you're in an area where I don't know, nobody lives or something. I don't know. But let's talk about how the challenges people have in getting these reviews, because I have clients all the time that say, yeah, we probably should start thinking about doing that at some point in time. Doing that meaning getting online reviews. And we'll say, well, are you asking patients to do it? And they're like, oh yeah, Betty in the front's doing that. And then you look at the reviews and how long have they been doing that for? A year and a half. You look at their online reviews and they have 4 reviews.
Yeah.
Why is there a disconnect there? Like why are people not able to do that?
Well, it's weird because some of the questions I get on Facebook are, how do I ask for reviews? And I think to myself, seriously? This is literally, here's the big secret. You ready? Okay, slow down, pull the car over if you're driving. Here's the big secret, and it's 2 words. You ready for the answer?
Mm-hmm.
You ask. That's it. You just ask for a review. Someone says, Dr. Van De Vyver, I just give someone an injection for number 3 occlusal. Just give someone an injection. We use tack topical. And everyone gets this compliment. Oh my gosh, I didn't even feel that. That was great. As soon as someone gives you a compliment, you follow it back up with, that's great. I'd love it if you told the world about that and left us a great review on Google. You can even put in there, I didn't even feel the injection. That'd be great. And they are happy that you gave them a pain-free injection. You are happy that they're hopefully going to leave you a review, but you've planted that seed. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be some formal ceremony. You just planted that seed. And then maybe your assistant at the end is talking to the patient and, oh my gosh, that visit went so quick. The assistant, your assistant has to be trained. Oh, that's great. We'd love it if you left us a great review about that. Just everyone in the office. It's your office culture. Your whole team, your whole office is aware of getting and giving reviews. So it's no big deal that your patient, even if you just saw him the first time, gives you a great review. So the whole office has to kind of be involved with that, just the mentality of, okay, we all want good reviews. But we know that it falls through the cracks. You don't say it, you don't remember to say it for every patient, or maybe every patient doesn't give you a glowing compliment every single time they come in. No big deal. But that's where, okay, once they leave, if they get an email or a text message that says, hey, how was your visit? It does it automatically. You don't have to worry about it.
So would you ask every patient that comes through your practice for a review every single time, no matter the facts and circumstances?
No, absolutely not. Because if it's every patient, well, no one bats 1,000. I don't care what you think. If you're out there, I have a very average, mediocre practice, but online I look like a superstar. And the reason is because I only ask patients who I know had a good visit. So all we do is, there's a little, I call it like a review stopgap. You want to make sure that before someone leaves a bad review, you want them to tell your office first. So all we do is we send them a survey. It's not really a survey. It just asks them, hey, would you give us some feedback? Did you have a good visit or did you not have a good visit? And if they didn't have a good visit, well, then it says, well, please tell us why you didn't have a good visit. We want to make sure that the future is better for you at our office. And that message just goes right to our office. And that's it, done. But if they say, yeah, I had a great visit, why do you ask? You say, oh, well, then if you had a great visit, please go to these review sites and leave us a great review. And that's the magic behind AutoFront Office. That's the magic behind every other automated review system out there. There's no way around it. And I can go into why there's no way around it if you'd like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd love to go into that. Just to speak real quickly on the survey aspect. Feedback loops in business are a thing of beauty. Most of us think about, what would happen if our patients were to tell us about everything that happened with our customers or whatever it is, or to talk to you every day about the things that occurred in your practice. End of the day, that's what you want, because even if it's a no, I didn't have a great time, that feedback loop is going to help you uncover deficiencies in your business.
Plug the leaks.
Exactly. You just become a better business.
Walking out the back door, you don't know why. You want to at least ask them on the way out, hey, why are you leaving? And email is the best non-confrontational way to do that.
Yeah, we have a few coaching clients I have. They've actually implemented, that it's not a tech-based way of doing it, but they've actually implemented the old survey cards just because they had these questions. They couldn't figure out what was going on. They started putting on these survey cards, and they actually found they got some really, really good feedback just from those little old survey cards that you used to see them on restaurant tables all the time. Nowadays, you actually can see them in the front. It's almost a novelty at this point to see those things. But feedback loops are fantastic. That's a whole nother topic. But okay, so tell us about how you can't get away from it.
Oh, you can't get away from the algorithm. You can't get away from the algorithm of you are not allowed there's no system out there. There's no automated system out there that will automatically post reviews for you. It does not exist, and it can exist and it won't exist. And the reason is because of the rules, the internet rules. I don't even know how long ago was the demand force thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Demand force.
I mean, I know what demand force is. They've got their own little website where they automatically post reviews, and they
did. So Google, a long time ago, when reviews were even more in its infancy, Google would allow third-party systems to post reviews on your patient's behalf, and demand force was a big one in the dental field. And what happened was all these patient reviews were going to demand force, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reviews posted on Google through demand force's website. And then one night, Google's just decided, hey, I don't think this is a good idea that these other companies can just post reviews, because we don't know if they're actually from those customers or what's going on. So, and someone could just pay for those reviews through that company. So we're going to make it a rule that only the end user, the end customer, your dental patient, can post the review. It has to be from their email address. And literally overnight, dentists went from having hundreds of positive reviews, 5-star reviews, literally overnight to 0, because they were all on demand force. And so now no company can do that on its own. It has to go through Google, and it has to go by the patient themselves. So no company can do that. The rules have changed forever.
And that's not just in dental. That's not just in dental. That's across every industry. I know accounting firm.
That's across everything, unless, like for a review site like Yelp, you can't post a review on Yelp from a third-party company like Demand Force. Demand Force can't post a patient review on your Yelp page. It has to be the patient. But those are changes for the good, because then it's an actual reflection of what your patients think of your office. So it was a bad thing for dentists who were in that boat, but it's a good thing for consumers. And it's a good thing for us now, because we're going to go out and get those patient reviews, the patients themselves to leave those reviews. So that's why no company can do it. And that's why this automated algorithm I shouldn't be paying the dental tax for it, because now this algorithm is open to everyone. You don't have to pay a service to post them on your behalf, because it can't be done.
So let's start, from the patient perspective as well. So they come in for the patient visit. They come in, you ask them for a review, and then, whether it be through digital means or it be you just having a sit down with the patient and saying, please leave me a review. And at that point, the patient has to log into their review system of choice, and they leave you a review, and then you have a review. How does your software make that more likely to happen than, that system not being automated?
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. There's a lot of steps involved. And if you can give your patient the least number of steps to go through, the more likely they are to comply. If you give them an instruction sheet with 7 steps to just leave you a review, you're not going to be very successful with that. Step 1, log into your Gmail account. Step 2, go to Google Maps and search my office. Step 3, click on the specific office, because we're not number 1 when you search for those terms. So make sure that you click on our office. Step number 4, put the number of stars that you want to leave our review. Step number 5, write your review. And step number 6, click post. Like, no patient is ever going to do that. So what our system does is, first it asks you for feedback. How was your visit? Only when they say it was a good visit does that landing page, that landing page or that result say, great, go to this review site. And it says right there, it's 3 buttons. I have a Gmail account, I'm on Facebook, or I'm a Yelper. And those links, as soon as they click on it, those links are going to go right to leaving a review. Like, all the patient has to do then is just start typing away.
And how is that delivered? Is that delivered, you said click on it, so do they have to be at a computer to receive that?
They get an email, and then if they don't open the email within a certain time frame, or they don't click on any of the links, then they'll get a text message. The reason is because text messages are more expensive. It's virtually free to send an email, but still we're using phone lines to send text messages, and data rates do apply. So again, that's just another stopgap. We want to reach the highest number of patients as cheaply as possible. So if they don't open the email, then they'll get a text message, and all it says in the text message is, "How was your visit?" And they just tap on it. It was good or it was not good, and then it goes right to those pages. So literally, what did I say? How was your visit? I have a Gmail account, and then click post. So I've taken out 4 steps or 3 steps, and the patient doesn't have to search or input anything. All they have to do is tap. 3 taps, really.
Very cool. And so as far as the, getting this process to actually work, like I talked about in the beginning of the episode, I have a lot of clients that say, I want to get reviews, and Betty's in the front asking for them. How does automating it with software make that not as painful?
Well, just like you said, it's automated. So you don't ever have to worry about it. You don't have to train your team on it at all if you don't want to. I find that it's best, you have, attack from multiple fronts, right? If I've mentioned something, my assistant has mentioned something, I've got a letter actually that I print out and said, "Hey, thanks for coming to our practice. Here's the URL to go to leave us a great review." And it's automatic. It goes to a pre-filled 5 stars automatic review on a short URL, but it's a letter that says, "We'd like you to leave a review." So they've gotten 4 verbals from us. "Hey, we'd like you to leave a review if you have any questions or anything." So all of that in the office is just reinforced. And then when they get the email, just automatically after they leave our office, then they'll think, "Oh yeah, I got to leave that review." And all I got to do is click. Okay, fine. It's easy.
Very good. Now, to people listening right now, it is April 5th when we're recording this, 2017. So, and right now, tell us, this is a software that you're developing, that you've developed with a business partner. And, right now, is this a launched product, or is this something that's coming out soon? What's the time frame on everything?
It is it is very close to beta and launch, in between beta and launch. We're about 2 days away from a soft launch. We have about 10 clients already. And from what we've tested, we can automatically sync all of this behind the scenes. So what happens is let's see, what time is it? About 3 in the afternoon. You're just checking out a patient. As soon as you click set appointment complete, and that appointment status changes from an open appointment to a completed appointment, then your server is going to send stuff up to the cloud that says, "This patient just completed an appointment." And that goes into our email system, and it says, "Okay, now we want to wait for 1 hour before you send them an email." So an hour after they leave your appointment, after the appointment is completed, they'll get an email.
Whenever you put this into action, do you tell any of your clients, like, make sure the patient knows it's coming in about an hour, or do you recommend people let the patient know before they get it, so that they're, because I know a lot of people don't even check their email nowadays.
Yeah, so I'll just tell them, "Hey, you're going to get an email in an hour, and if not, you'll get a text message. If you don't open it, you'll get a text message too. I'd appreciate it if you just left us some feedback." And honestly, I really don't care if I don't mention leave us a good review. I say give us some feedback, because you want that feedback loop. I want to know how to improve my business. And if I tell them ahead of time, if I tell them before they say they had a bad visit, they are actually more likely to tell me that they had a good visit. It's so weird, because they know that they know that we're listening. They know that we care, and they know that we're people and we're going to make mistakes. So if I tell them, "Hey, I might have made a mistake here, but let me know about it so I can correct it or not make it in the future. Let me know." People actually appreciate that more, think you're a better office, and then they'll they'll still rant and rave about you. It's very weird getting into the mind of a patient when you start actually communicating with them.
It is, and and that personal connection of asking someone to do something for you, that goes a long way nowadays, comparatively to, you're talking, most people, when they ask about a review or ask about a survey, it's done at the end of a phone call that they didn't want to be on that phone call one way or the other. If it's actual, face-to-face personal thing, saying, hey, you're going to get this feedback question. If you could just leave us some feedback and really help us out to know how your visit went today, then that it means a lot to me if you could do that for me.
Absolutely.
That goes such a long way.
I always find it kind of annoying when you get a service call and then at the end of the service call, the technician's like, oh, and by the way, you're going to get this survey. I hope you can rate me a 5 out of 5 on all of this. And I'm like, well, is that the only reason you were doing it? It was for the survey? But if you ask for feedback, hey, I just want to know how I'm doing. If you could let me know, that would be great. It's actually better to tell your patients that you just want to know how you're doing as a dentist and as a service provider, rather than, trying to get those reviews. So those are 2 points to take away. One is just tell them that you're interested in what they have to say about you. And the second thing that actually makes it more, your open rate go up for those emails, if you want to call it an open rate, or if they're going to take a survey, is if you tell them that the dentist reads all feedback personally. Hey, I want to know if Susie at the front is not doing a good job because I read all feedback personally. I want to know how my assistant's treating you because I read all feedback personally. I don't delegate it. This is not something that is a menial task. I think it's very important that I do that. So you're communicating that importance to your patient. And now all of a sudden it goes from, oh, all you want is a 5 on your rating, to you're really interested and you really care about the service, about the quality of service and care that you're delivering to your patients. That's kind of in between the lines, and patients really appreciate that.
I agree. So, for listeners out there, what is a good way for them to be able to find out more about AutoFront Office? And, guys, this currently, Dr. Van De Vyver has talked about it being a fraction of the cost compared to the other companies that charge for reviews. I'm going to try and get him to not say his price currently, because we don't know if someone's going to be listening to this 2 years into the future or not. But when he says it's a fraction of the cost, it's not, that's not just hearsay. Whenever someone says it's a fraction of the cost, I think, is it, like 8/9 of, of what the cost is? But this is a significant decrease. We're talking, less than half, and significantly even more than that in some cases. What do people need to do if they're interested in being amongst the first users of the software, to be able to join the review revolution, if you will?
Let's see. So right now, here's my kind of philosophy on business is any kind of service of subscription business. If I get in early, I'm going to be treated as, an early adopter. And if I'm with you for 2 years, I should be rewarded for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years from now, when we raise our prices to hundreds of dollars a month, if you're a longstanding client, your price is going to be the same 2 years from now as it is today. I feel like existing clients don't get the shaft. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So right now we are starting our texting and email service. So other services right now are about $200, $250 a month. I think it's absurd. We are opening AutoFront Office with text messaging service for $69 a month. So if you go to autofrontoffice.com and put in the coupon code START for Start Your Dental Practice, we'll take off $10 a month, and that's going to be good for the life of your prescription. So, you'll be saving $120 a year, multiplied by however many years you're a continued client.
Millions of dollars in savings.
Millions. Yeah. So no, again, so that just goes to my subscription business philosophy: is if you start early, you should have that price locked in. And it should never, that's just your reward for being an early adopter. But the backside of that is reviews are just the beginning. And the reason why I wanted to show you on this whiteboard here is I was thinking about our presentation about lead magnets and how we're marketing to all of these prospects and then they have an appointment, right?
Sure.
So if you think about like that marketing timeline as just a straight line, the ball, which is the appointment date, is on the right? So all the marketing comes up and then they have the appointment. Reviews are the exact same thing, but in reverse. They start with the appointment and then you have the follow-up marketing. You have the appointment and then you have the follow-up email, the follow-up text. This AutoFront Office system is going to expand in product line, and we're going to be doing treatment follow-up campaigns. How often do you need to follow up with an implant patient or a surgery patient just a couple days after their appointment, or an implant patient several months after their appointment? And we're doing the same thing, very repetitive, offering the same post-op advice, recipes, all this stuff. You could be sharing videos. So there's a lot that's in the pipeline for AutoFront Office.
Unscheduled treatment. I know consultants that have built businesses around.
Don't. I don't want to lay out my whole marketing plan, but the unscheduled treatment and reactivation campaigns that we have with AutoFront Office are going to be, they're going to be awesome and really change the way that you are marketing your practice in several different ways. So we're not going away anytime soon.
I'm glad I found the secret next step.
That's the whole reason. I mean, we're starting low with this, but the potential for practice benefit is astronomical. And when the practice owners that get that from the marketing standpoint understand the value of this response marketing and continued patient communication after they've left the office, they are going to make so much more money and be able to treat so many more patients in such a better way. It's the sky's the limit with this stuff. It's pretty incredible.
Awesome. So guys, if you're interested, go to autofrontoffice.com and check it out. Dr. Van De Vyver is very active in the Dental Hacks Nation Facebook group. If you're not in there, you should be. It's quickly becoming one of the more active online forums for dentistry.
But my personality is not as nice in person or on Facebook as I am on podcast. I'm the resident meanie, so I call some people out who just don't contribute to the group. So join the Dental Hacks Nation, but be prepared to contribute.
Very good. All right, guys. Dr. Van De Vyver, thanks so much for being on. Is there anything that we didn't cover that we need to?
No. I mean, do you want to give out my email? I don't know if that's something you want to do or not.
Yeah. No. It's not my choice to give out your email. So.
You should. Well, you should have if you want to. There's a couple different things. My direct email is drvan at gldentistry.com. drvan at gldentistry.com for Great Lakes Dentistry. And if you still don't know how to ask for reviews, I put together just a quick sheet. 13 ways you can ask for a review. 13 different ways you can ask for a review. Besides just flat out asking your patients. 13 different ways you can post on your website and make handouts and all that good stuff. So we're going to have a landing page for that. So I don't know what your landing page is going to be, but that's what you would get.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on the podcast, sharing your story, and I look forward to having the follow-up in a year whenever AutoFront Office has taken over the dental industry. So thanks again, Dr. Shawn.
Thanks so much. Looking forward to it.
Good.
A very huge thanks to Dr. Shawn for coming back on the show and keeping us up to date with how to automate and optimize your dental practice. Now, as Dr. Shawn mentioned, while there's no magic bullet in any business, there are some things you can do that will add considerable value over time. Now, getting more patient reviews is definitely one of those. And as a bonus for today, Dr. Shawn has generously offered his cheat sheet of 13 ways to get more patient reviews, as well as a very special lifetime discount to his new dental software. If you're looking to get more reviews for your practice and avoid the dreaded dental tax, this might be perfect for you. So to get that bonus, just simply text PRACTICE to 33444. Again, that's PRACTICE to 33444, or visit startyourdentalpractice.com/bonus if you're outside of the US. You'll also receive updates on the latest episodes of Start Your Dental Practice, helpful tips for owning and running a practice, and promotional opportunities direct to your inbox.
So that's it for today's episode, but that doesn't mean that the learning and implementation have to stop there. I've created a free report called The 15 Numbers That Will Make or Break Your Dental Practice. This report has been downloaded over 1,000 times by dental professionals. So if you want your free copy of this report that's going to outline what the most important numbers are in any dental practice, and it also includes how to look at your numbers, how to set goals, has a whole slew of really important information that is the culmination of all of my experience as a dental CPA, then just go to startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. That is startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. And so that's it for today, Ambitious Dentist. Again, I'm Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV. I'll see you next week with another world-class practice owner or consultant that will help you start your very own dental practice. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Start Your Dental Practice community. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do me a favor and go to startyourdentalpractice.com/iTunes to leave your honest feedback and review on iTunes. It's going to help me create a better experience, a better show, a better podcast for you, the ambitious dentist. Your feedback really does help, regardless if you like the show today or not. If you didn't like the show, let me know, because it's going to help me create a better show and podcast for you. Lastly, if you know of anybody that would benefit from today's episode and today's content, today's guest, please feel free to share with them on social media or through email.